This is a complete beginner's guide to the Bybit exchange. In this video, I will explain how to register and show you how to buy and sell cryptocurrency. I'll explain how futures work and how to open long and short positions. Let's start by registering on the exchange. To do this, follow the link in the description. Next, enter your email and password. Confirm your registration by copying and pasting the code sent to your email. After registering, we will be redirected to the bonus center. Here, we can see what we will receive for registering through our link. First of all, we will receive $20 bonus for verification. We also receive tasks for making a deposit and for trading volume. To make a deposit, we simply need to add funds, and to create trading volume, you just need to buy or sell cryptocurrency on the exchange. This will also work with futures positions. Accordingly, if we reach a trading volume of $2,000, we will receive $50 bonus, and so on, up to $30,000 bonus. Bonus dollars cannot be withdrawn, but you can use them to open a position on futures. And all the profit we get from these transactions will become ours, and it can be withdrawn. If you are planning to learn how to trade, it's best to start with bonuses, so you don't risk losing your own money. So, the first thing you should do is complete verification. To do this, go to Account and Security. Here, click this button and you'll be redirected to the verification process. I recommend completing it via your phone. To do this, click Verify in the app and scan the QR code. You will need to enter your information, provide any convenient identity document, and take a selfie. After verification, be sure to link your phone. To do this, in the Account and Security tab, click this button and select the country of your phone number in the menu. Enter your number and confirm the code sent to your email. After that, all the features of the exchange will become available to us. If you don't know how to deposit or withdraw funds, we have a video tutorial on P2P and other methods for depositing and withdrawing cryptocurrency from the exchange. Within the exchange, there is its own internal wallet for managing your funds. To access it, click on the Assets button. On the exchange, there is a separate wallet for each specific task. For example, there is a funding wallet for deposits and withdrawals, a unified trading wallet for spot and futures trading, and inverse contracts. We will have a separate video about them. In general, to trade on spot and futures, you need to transfer your funds to the unified trading wallet. To do this, click this button, select the amount, and click Confirm. Now, let's move on to spot trading. I'll show you how to buy and sell cryptocurrency. To do this, go to the Spot Trading tab, and the Spot Trading interface will appear in front of us. At the top, you'll see the pair for the transaction, such as Bitcoin for USDT, the current price of the cryptocurrency, its 24-hour percentage change, the highest and lowest prices in the last 24 hours, and the daily trading volume in USDT. There is also a menu here where you can select the cryptocurrency you want to buy or sell. It should be noted that only those pairs approved by the exchange are available here. Each exchange has its own principles for approving trading pairs. On the left, we have a menu for various drawing tools on the chart. We will have a separate video covering all these buttons. Below, we can select the time interval displayed on the chart. The chart itself consists of green and red candlesticks, where green indicates growth and red indicates decline. Below the chart, we will see the menu for our orders. We will need this when we place our orders. To the right of the chart, we will see the order book with market orders that are currently being placed. At the top of the order book, we can see the order price, the amount of cryptocurrency currently being offered, and the total at the current price. The red columns represent sell orders, while the green ones represent buy orders. We can also see which side has more participants, sellers or buyers. And the most interesting menu is on the right. Here, we can place our own buy or sell order, choose the order type, and select the price and amount at which we want to make a trade. At the bottom, the amount of our money and cryptocurrency is displayed. Let me explain to you the difference between the types of orders. Orders are requests in the order book. Most often, we will only use limit and market orders. A limit order is a purchase at a specific price, while a market order is a purchase at the current price available at the moment. And before talking about their functional differences, it's important to mention a key nuance. Both types of orders can experience price slippage. Price slippage occurs during sharp market movements. If we use a market order, we will get a less favorable price for ourselves, but the order will be fully executed. But with a limit order, we will get the exact price we want, although the order may not be filled or may be filled only partially. Therefore, when you place limit orders, I recommend splitting them into parts, especially if you are dealing with large amounts. It's also important to remember that the exchange charges a commission for each order. And to help you save on commissions, I'll tell you about takers and makers. Takers are orders like market orders, which are executed instantly, while makers are like limit orders, which are executed when a specific target price is reached. Exchanges charge a higher commission for takers. If you want to save on commissions, use limit orders. Let me explain what a limit order is and when I use it. A limit order is placed at exactly the price you specify. So, if you don't want to buy at the current price and think the price will go lower, you can set the price you want and your order will appear in the order book at that price. And when the price of the cryptocurrency reaches your order, it will be executed. The same applies to selling. If you have already bought cryptocurrency and want to take your profit, which means to lock in your gains and you don't want to constantly monitor the price, you can place a limit sell order at the price you consider acceptable. For example, I will place limit orders for both buying and selling. To do this, I will specify the price and select the amount of cryptocurrency I want to buy. I do the same actions with selling. All placed orders and their history can be viewed in the lower panel. Here we can cancel or change the volume of our order. For example, let me add a large amount of money and then cancel it. Now, let's move on to the market order. If you place a market order, the purchase will be made at the current available price in the order book. If we're talking about lesser known cryptocurrencies, pay attention to whether there are orders at the current price of the cryptocurrency in the order book. To buy or sell with a market order, it's enough to simply enter the amount you want to buy. Let me buy and sell using a market order. However, if you suddenly want to buy cryptocurrency at a higher price, then a simple market order won't work for us. And that's why there's a condition order for this purpose. Essentially, it's a limit or market order with an added condition. The conditional order is triggered when the specified conditions are met, and since you can set it at any price, you can place it above the current price. The same applies if you want to set a stop loss. Stop loss literally means stopping losses. In other words, if you decide that once a certain price is reached, it will continue to fall, and you no longer want to stay in that position, you can set a condition to sell. At the same time, I recommend placing a market order to avoid slippage. For example, let me set a conditional buy order above the current price. To do this, go to the conditional order section. Here I will enter the trigger price and set the order type to market. The same applies if I want to set a stop loss for an existing position. Our conditional orders are displayed below in the conditional submenu. I think I've shown all the main types of orders, so we can move on to futures. To do this, let's go to the Perpetual Futures tab. I think it's worth first explaining the difference between spot and futures. On the spot market, we exchange cryptocurrencies, and when we buy, we receive the cryptocurrency directly. But with futures, we only enter into contracts with the exchange for long and short positions, where long is a contract betting on the price going up, and short is a contract betting on the price going down. And since these are just contracts, we do not actually own the cryptocurrencies directly. But futures offer more flexible functionality, since you can earn not only when the price rises, but also when it falls. And the biggest difference is that futures have leverage, where you can borrow money from the exchange using your own funds, thereby increasing both your potential profit and your risks. It's also worth mentioning that these are perpetual futures, so your contracts can remain open for as long as you need. The futures menu itself is not much different from spot trading, but the menu on the right does have some differences, and in the upper right corner we can click on our leverage. Leverage is essentially an accelerator for both our profits and our losses. With $10 in a futures account and using Tank's leverage, we can open a contract worth $100. But if the price moves just 10% in the opposite direction from what we chose, we will lose our $10 and get liquidated. Liquidation is the forced closure of contracts by the exchange due to insufficient funds to maintain the position. That is, when opening a position, it will be indicated exactly where our money will run out and turn into a loss. So, if we bought cryptocurrency for $10 on the spot market and it went up by 10%, we would make $1. But with Tank's leverage, if the price moves in the direction we chose in the contract, whether up or down, we would make $10. That is why I strongly recommend that before you start trying to make money on futures, you carefully weigh all the risks and justify your decision to open a futures position as thoroughly as possible. To the left of the leverage setting, there is a margin mode selection. This is where you choose how and which funds will be used to cover your losing positions in futures trading. In other words, if you choose isolated margin, only the funds you use to open the position will be considered for your position. This means that only your position can be liquidated, without affecting anything else. If you choose cross margin, then all the funds in your account will be used to cover losses. And instead of a quicker liquidation, all your remaining money will be used to cover the losing position. If you enable portfolio margin mode, other cryptocurrencies will also be used for liquidation. That's why I highly recommend starting with only isolated margin. Let's open a $5 long contract. To do this, on the right, I select a market order and choose the amount for which I'll open the long position. You can also immediately open a position with a stop loss and take profit here, but we'll talk about that a bit later. My position has now appeared below. Here you can find all the important information about my position. Here you can see our trading pair and margin mode, along with the leverage, the amount of cryptocurrency, the value of our position, the price of the cryptocurrency at the moment we entered the position, the liquidation price at which we would incur a loss, the amount of money involved in the position, and the amount we can add to move our liquidation price further away. But at first, I do not recommend using this function. Unrealized profit that we have at the moment of closing, and realized loss or profit taking into account the commission. And here you can also set take profit and stop loss to define your profit and losses. To do this, I will click Add. A menu will appear where you can specify the trigger price at which you will take profit and the price at which you no longer want to incur losses. I think it's the perfect time to talk about risk management. This is the ratio of the percentage of our profitable trades to the profits and losses of positions. In other words, if our profit in a position is 3 times greater than the loss, then just 33% of successful trades will keep us from going into the red. Therefore, before you start trading, develop your own personal strategy, which should be supported either by technical analysis, news background, or whatever you personally find works for you. We will have a separate video dedicated to developing a personal strategy. For now, let's set the take profit and stop loss at a ratio of 3:1. That is, a profit of 30% and a loss of 10%. Our stop loss and take profit are displayed on the chart. You can also close a position in parts. As I mentioned earlier, if you want to save on commissions, use limit orders. There is also a trailing auto stop function here. It allows you to set a stop that moves along with the price when it goes in the direction of our position. You can set the stop either by the price difference of the cryptocurrency or by the percentage difference. Let me show you an example. After I set a trailing stop at 1%, a stop appeared that will be automatically adjusted. If the price moves in the direction of the open position in my case, I have a long position. If the price rises, the stop will move up following the price. But if the price turns against us, the stop will stay in the same place. A trailing stop is useful when you are confident that the price will continue moving in your direction without significant pullbacks. Also, for convenience, there are options to close by limit and market orders. If you need to close a position urgently, use a market order. Use a limit order for partial or full profit taking. For example, let me close this long position and open a short one. To do this, I will select a market order. Also, as an example, I will change the leverage and immediately set a stop and take profit. In a 3:1 ratio, when opening a position, I'll look at the chart to see where my stop and take profit are, and I'll move them directly on the chart. I'll also check where my liquidation price is, because slippage can happen, and in rare cases my stop might not trigger. And just in case, I can add more funds to the position to move my liquidation further away. It's also worth talking about money management. This refers to the amount of money you will use for positions over a certain period of time. For example, in a day I might use only 10% of my deposit to open positions, and for a single position, I'll use just 1%. Given that I use isolated margin mode and follow my money management rules, I can only open 10 positions at the same time. This is exactly what will prevent me from losing my money quickly. Additionally, if I include in my risk management not only the profit to loss ratio, but also the number of profitable and losing trades per day, for example, allowing myself 3 losing trades and 9 profitable trades a day, it will further reduce my risk of losing funds. It is precisely the combination of your strategy, risk management, and money management that will help you reduce the risk of losses. But don't forget that this is the cryptocurrency market, and anything can happen here. And that is exactly why, until the math is on your side, do not use money that you are afraid to lose. If I want to withdraw my money, I will go to Assets and transfer it from the unified trading account to the funding wallet. I hope this video was useful for you. If so, please like the video and subscribe to the channel. If you have any questions, write them in the comments.